Ghostly, haunting, chilling to the bone. Paranormal at Dusk was born from an insatiable curiosity to explore the unknown. Our quest is to unveil the mysteries that lie beyond the mundane, and I'm inviting you, along with a few friends, to join me on this thrilling journey. Happy haunting!
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Paranormal at Dusk. If you like what we do, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Our spooky community is expanding and we are very, very grateful for each and every one of you tuning in. Today marks Easter Sunday, a day celebrated by many worldwide in honor of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Whether Christian or not, many are probably enjoying the holiday treats. While the resurrection and the tradition of chocolate eggs are not historically linked, it is interesting to note that Easter has its roots in pagan customs, like a great many holidays. The date of Easter varies each year, and it's determined by the first Sunday after the full moon that follows the spring equinox. And the name Easter also has pagan origins, deriving from the Saxon spring goddess, Ostara. In the 8th century, the Anglo-Saxons merged her name with the celebration of Jesus' resurrection, giving rise to the Christian holiday's name. However, the observance of Easter predates the Saxons, with some theories suggesting connections to the Sumerians and the myth of Dumuzi, or Tammuz, as well as the Babylonians and their goddess Ishtar and Inanna. The narrative of Inanna's descent to the netherworld is inscribed on a clay tablet that is over 4,100 years old. That's ancient. As someone who loves world history, I'd love to be able to go see the artifact. I think it would be interesting to see the story of Tammuz perishing, followed by Ishtar's descent into the netherworld, where she faces judgment, meets her demise, and is hung up on display. It's a tale that says that during her absence, the earth suffers, so the crops fail and the animals stop reproducing. After 3 days, the god Enki sends 2 beings into the netherworld with the plants and water of life, resulting in the resurrection of both deities. They return to the earth as the sun for 6 months before descending back into the netherworld for another 6 months, symbolizing the cycle of death and rebirth. The story of Jesus in Christianity has been influenced by Sumerian myths. It's evident that the account of Jesus was embellished with ancient mythology to keep traditional knowledge and impart wisdom into the New Testament for future generations. In the 4th century, Christians identified the site of Jesus' empty tomb in Jerusalem, selecting a location where a temple dedicated to Aphrodite once existed. This ancient temple was destroyed. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built in its stead. We have to recognize that there are numerous ancient tales of death and resurrection, such as those of Horus in Egypt, or Mithras in Iran, and Dionysus in Greece. These stories share similar themes and are associated with sun worship, similar to the elements woven into the New Testament. This link is unsurprising, especially when you look at the rise of the Holy Roman Empire and the emperor's acceptance of Christianity. In ancient history, the cult of Cybele thrived on Vatican Hill. Now, consort Attis was born from a virgin, died, and was reborn yearly. Does that sound familiar to you? The spring festival started with a day they called a Day of Blood. The Day of Blood was celebrated by followers who would whip themselves, often causing severe bleeding, while the priests would undergo self-castration, and the blood was then used to sprinkle the statue and the altars of the temple. The next 3 days of festivities celebrated the resurrection of Attis. As you can see, there are plenty of stories that revolve around life, death, and rebirth, all of which are very, very old. Now, when it comes to deciding which story is the origin story of Easter, not all historians agree that Ishtar is the answer. There's actually another spring goddess with varying names, such as Ustra, Ostara, Ostra, and Easter. This goddess was celebrated on the spring equinox, March 21st, as the harbinger of light following winter. The goddess was often depicted as a hare, which is why the modern Easter bunny represents the arrival of spring and the fertility of the season. The term Ostra, an ancient word meaning spring, has been integrated into various European languages over the years. This suggests that the true origins of Easter are rooted in traditions from many diverse cultures throughout history, but the majority of historians agree that all these deities can trace their roots back to Ishtar. So what's the connection to eggs during this holiday? In ancient springtime rituals, eggs symbolized rebirth, renewal, and fertility. The reason behind the Easter bunny delivering eggs begins with Germanic mythology regarding the goddess Ostara, who healed a wounded bird and transformed it into a hare. This hare, still possessing some of its bird traits, showed its thanks by laying eggs as gifts. This Germanic pagan tradition has rich historical connections, as the egg also represents the sun in ancient Egypt culture. If we examine the Babylonian goddess Ishtar, who is closely related to the Sumerian goddess Inanna, and probably inspired many, if not all, the spring deities, we see that she was linked to fertility with symbols such as the hare and the egg. So, as you treat yourselves to some Easter eggs this weekend, remember that this tradition has roots that extend back thousands and thousands of years, which, if you think about it, is pretty darn cool. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, happy haunting!